Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. So we are seeing some higher pressure building in throughout this upcoming weekend, which will turn things slightly warmer and will turn it pretty dry as well. Now we aren't going to see any incredible air masses pushing in, so we're unlikely to see anything too warm, but temperatures could get back into the low 20s for some, especially further southwards. And then as we head into the early part of June, we are starting to see signs that it could be turning cooler and a little bit more unsettled, all due to the fact of some northern blocking starting to build in. Now it has been hinted at for a number of days, but we have been fairly sceptical because the ensembles haven't reflected it all too much. But today we are starting to see a bit of a shift from those ensembles, with more of them going below average, with more of a northerly or northwesterly airflow pushing in. So it's not going to mean things will be horrible, but it will mean there could be showers around and a generally chillier feel, especially as we head into the early to middle parts of June. That looks like where it could become a bit consolidated, that sort of pattern. But we'll explore that in the second half of the video. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe. And remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, if you start on the live radar, you can see there are a few showers around across parts of eastern and central England today. They were heavier earlier, with a few flashes of lightning and some of the heavier showers, but they're now starting to fizzle away as just some generally thicker cloud. And it will leave a generally generally dry overnight for many. If you do look at the temperatures, you can see the wind is coming in from the north today, so it has meant it's been a little bit of a chillier feel, but it's still not been particularly cold, still around average for the time of year. Plenty of yellows indicating the temperatures are still in the teens. We are likely to see those temperatures rise again through the weekend, which is a positive, but as I said, it shouldn't be too warm at all. If you look at the latest UKV, you can see those showers spreading away through this evening, leaving it generally dry overnight, but you can see maybe a few will linger across parts of East Anglia there into the early hours of Friday, unfortunately, but by lunchtime they are starting to clear. Through much of Friday, it's actually a dry day, a few showers around again, maybe in the far southeast, West Midlands, etc., but for most, it's a generally dry feel. Bit more of cloud around, which could hold the temperatures back a bit, but it shouldn't be too bad at all. Now, as we head into the first day of meteorological summer, into the first day of June, you can see it's a dry day. High pressure is building in, and you can see there's plenty of sunshine, and those temperatures will reflect that. Now, initially, we have been highlighting this. The wind will be coming in off the North Sea. So upper air temperatures are around average for the time of year, but you can see the wind is coming in from that north or northeasterly direction around the high, and that will mean that those surface temperatures do suffer a little bit. It shouldn't be cold, but just won't be as warm as if that wind direction was from the west or the south. Now, if you look into Sunday, it's another pretty dry day, but a little bit more precipitation across parts of western Scotland, and this is all due to the fact that we're starting to see that wind direction change once again, with some lower pressure systems trying to push in off the Atlantic, starting to show signs of that northern blocking, that high pressure moving out to the North Atlantic, and perhaps a northerly wind starting to push in. You can see as we head into Monday, that precipitation shifts southwards, just generally thicker cloud, at least initially, and you can see generally a much showery and fresher feeling from the north, and you see those air masses going well below average, down to -2 or -3 degrees at 850 HPA in the north, and that is, as said, all due to the fact of that northern blocking and generally a cold air mass starting to push in. If you look at those maximum temperatures, you can see this afternoon temperatures weren't great, but still in the mid to high teens, feeling a little bit chillier where we've got showers and more of an exposed wind. Into tomorrow, those temperatures will be slightly higher for many further westwards, where we avoid the cloud and lingering showers in the east, maybe getting towards 20 degrees. And then for the first day of meteorological summer, first day of June, it won't be too bad. Temperatures again widely in the high teens, maybe touching 20 or 21 degrees. But the reason for them not being slightly higher is all due to the fact of that north or northeasterly wind just holding those temperatures down. You see, the further northwards and eastwards you go, the slightly chillier it will be. Now, with a slight wind direction change on Sunday, look at that. Temperatures responding much higher, 20 to 23, as we do see more warmer air masses moving in. But unfortunately not lasting too long, and by Monday, still warm, but starting to cool down once again with that wind shifting back into the north. And the same can be said for Tuesday. Still warm in the far southeast, but much chillier in the north and the west with that fresher conditions pushing in. You can see the next 5 days doesn't look like there'll be a whole load of precipitation around. There'll be a bit, but it's mostly going to be up and down with those temperatures. Some decent days, some slightly less decent days, but they still shouldn't be particularly poor. It's not like we're going to see any big walls of rain with persistent rain throughout the whole day. It is going to be showery, but it is going to be pretty decent out there for most. Now, if you look at the latest GFS, we'll see why this is occurring. You see a bit of a northerly flow at the moment, but that high pressure builds in initially with a bit of a northerly flow for Saturday, but by Sunday, it's more of a flatter airflow with less mixing, and that allows those temperatures at the surface to respond. But it doesn't last all too long, and you see by Monday to Tuesday, we see that northern blocking moving out into the North Atlantic, and you can see more of a northerly flow pushing in. Now, it's not a massively direct northerly here, but it is still pushing in pretty fresh air masses as we head through towards the following weekend. And look at that, the 0 degree isotherm pushes in, and if we have a look at the temperature deviation, it is well below average, 4 to 6 degrees below average, and you see it pretty much lingers through the most of this run with very little in the ways of above average air masses moving in. Even here, we're still in blues. Even though it's not very cold, we're still in blues. So GFS definitely suggesting a chilly start to June, or chilly first couple of weeks, especially in the north, but not only in the north, definitely shifting to the south at times, all due to the fact of this northern block. Now, if you compare it to the GM, again, a northerly flow at the moment, high pressure building in, turning things slightly drier and warmer, and then we do see again another fresher northerly flow, and again, it does turn chilly for a time, before by day 10, high pressure starts building back over the top of us. Low pressure to our south could be a bit of a thundery pattern, but it would be warmer, and you see that warm air across Central and Eastern Europe starting to waft our way. Some fresher air mixed in within it, but definitely more of a warmer, thundery pattern there at day 10, instead of a cooler, showery pattern like the GFS had. So even though the GFS is pretty persistent on something cooler through the first couple of weeks of June, GM doesn't make it last all too long, with it turning warmer, more humid and thundery once again by the following weekend. Now, to compare to the latest ECMWF, again a northerly flow at the moment, high pressure building back in, turning drier and warmer through the weekend, but eventually into early next week we do see a really quite strong northerly flow pushing in, especially for northern areas. By the middle of next week, turning very fresh indeed. Look at those upper air temperatures well below average for the time of year, and stay well below average all the way to day 10. Now, I would be reasonably unsettled with that, but with a drier air mass in from the north, we shouldn't expect anything too crazy in terms of precipitation. It just generally would be a pretty chilly feel out there. If we do zoom in, you can see the temperatures in the day, low teens, maybe mid-teens at best, into that extended range. So yeah, really not looking particularly great. So we'll have to just wait and see exactly how it does play out, but for the time being, definitely does look like it could be pretty chilly in places next week. Now, we can see the evidence of this on the latest ensembles, hovering around average over this weekend. Dry conditions for a time, and that's why the temperatures will respond through Saturday and Sunday, especially in the south, and even Monday maybe for some in the southeast. But into the middle of next week, we do see those upper air temperatures dropping now to a below average sort of level. Now, not all are going, so we still have some hope that it could stay a bit warmer, but I'd say more than not going are now below average, and quite a few fresher runs starting to appear. Precipitation doesn't look huge, again indicating it's a showery pattern, but nothing too massive in the way of deluges, but definitely looking a pretty chilly feel. And you see those 2 meter temperatures are not particularly great from some runs here, more towards the mid-teens, but definitely still some optimism from the ensembles. It's nowhere near as clear-cut as the operational runs are making it look. The operational runs have definitely been pretty persistent with this northerly flow. Ensemble members starting to get there, but still staying a little bit reluctant. And if we finish by looking at the latest ECMWF, again, you can see well above average, or getting slightly above average, sorry, by the weekend and starting next week. And then we see a drop, quite a big drop here from the ECMWF by a good 2 or 3 degrees below average, with some even getting towards 7, 8 degrees below average. Much stronger drop than we were seeing from the GFS ensemble members. So a bit more persistency here from the ECMWF ensembles, a bit more confidence building in. Again, it doesn't look overly unsettled, so so we shouldn't expect anything too crazy in terms of precipitation, but again, just a pretty chilly feel. And if we do look at those 2 meter temperatures, you can see a bit of a drop into early June. Now, of course, we are heading towards the peak time of the year for sun strength, so very high UV levels. You still get sunburn even if it's 15 degrees, but it will also mean that with this sort of showery northerly flow with drier air, we are likely to see more sunshine. So it kind of will counteract. Yes, the air will be fresh, the wind will blow, and it will be chilly, but we'll actually see quite a lot of sunshine, so it still actually will be relatively warm. So those two kind of counteract each other. Now, yes, in the evenings when the sun goes down, it will get cold, it will be pretty chilly, but in the day, it probably shouldn't be too bad. You can see here from even the worst ensemble members, only getting down to maybe 14 or 15 degrees at worst as we head towards the middle part of June. So we'll have to wait and see how it does play out, but definitely looks like northern blocking is on our way, also on its way. We'll just have to wait and see the exact response from the models and what we'll see in reality nearer the time. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you enjoy the next few days, as it is going to be fairly dry and it will get warm in places. And I'll see you again for another video soon.